Coming up on Bear News.
They really gave you a lot of information of how to start with being an intern.
From the classroom to career, we'll show you how a career fair helped students.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to, so this gave me the opportunity to do something I've always wanted to do.
Students took a trip to Italy, and we'll tell you how it benefited their education.
Basically what the Ghostbusters franchises do is they do some cosplay for good.
We'll catch up with Ghostbusters right here in Greeley. Bear News starts now.
Good afternoon, Bears. My name is Jalen Lee.
And I'm Alicia Flores.
And happy late Easter. I know I enjoy some good food like ham and turkey, but what about you, Alicia?
You know, I had some ham, but what I missed the most was the egg hunt. I used to run around my yard and pick up as many as I could.
Yeah, I miss doing that too, man. What a time to be alive. But speaking of picking things up, Alicia, do you know what you're doing after college?
You know, I have an idea. I guess I just need to figure out what those places will be at. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, you know. I feel like the job market right now, super scary. Well, if you're like me and Alicia and still a little worried, JMS and Communications held their annual job fair. Bear News reporter Rowan Nicodemus went out and found out all that went down.
Everybody's attention, just real quick. Have everybody's attention, just real quick.
On Wednesday, UNC held a job fair for JMS and comm students, where you could network for internships, hear from past alumni, and enter raffles.
The table that intrigued me the most was the main internship field, as they really gave you a lot of information of how to start with being an intern.
Comm students can fit just as well into that sales, management, business expertise, because a lot of what we do is persuasive communication in sales. So I would want students to know that this is an opportunity for them.
We bring a local presence for the students to be able to experience what our business offers. We like to be connected to the students because they're a large patronage population for our cafe.
But maybe none of that interested you. Students could still give a shot at faculty Jeopardy.
Went to Haiti just to ride a roller coaster. Me!
This is Rowan Nicodemus with Bear News.
Maybe next year we could be a part of the alumni panel.
It's that time of year again to start getting excited for Bear Fest. The annual event gives students a chance to slow down and take a minute to relax for finals. And although last year's had to be held inside, hopefully the weather this time is more forgiving. This year Bear Fest is kicking off on May 1st. The events include a puppy social, Maker's Den, Bear County Fair, Battle of the Bears, and returning favorites like the petting zoo. And of course, it wouldn't be Bear Fest without the highly anticipated spring concert. Now, the UPC hasn't announced who the performer will be just yet, but don't worry, we'll keep you updated. In the meantime, how are you guys feeling about Bear Fest?
I think it'll be really fun. There's always an event happening. They overlap a little bit, so you're not just at the art fair, you're also at the carnival at the same time. So there should be a lot of stuff to do.
I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. There's some great people working on putting it together. And I keep hearing about this artist. I don't know who it is, but I think it's going to be someone good.
And if you missed it, some students took a trip abroad. Bear News reporter Lydia Erickson traveled to capture the action.
On the first Saturday of spring break, Honors 395 students were afforded the opportunity to fly to Italy with a staff member, and that's where their study abroad journey began. Their week of travel started in Rome and ended in Milan. Students did a lot of walking and took in sites like the Colosseum, Roman Forum, Duomo, and local hangout spots. The week was full of academically focused tours, but to many students, their eyes were able to teach them more than any textbook ever had.
It's one thing to read like something on a page like the Rome Colosseum, but then like actually walking through and seeing where everyone was walking through and kind of learning where everyone sat and like watched and like how women were able to go until the afternoon. So I learned a lot more just like beyond the basics of what we're taught in school.
While the massive Colosseum caught the attention of certain students, other students were captivated by the general charm of Italy.
It was really cool to see, like, walking down the street, there's just like random churches, random buildings. It was so different, you know what I mean?
Although the University of Northern Colorado Study Abroad program has gone through a lot of changes as a result of President Andy Feinstein's budget cuts, it has not stopped these students from encouraging others to study abroad.
I would absolutely encourage everybody to study abroad if they can.
Over spring break, 15 students were bonded together through their experiences in Italy and Milan. Their bond represents a greater structure standing behind them, made up of donors, faculty members, and staff at the Office of Global Engagement who made this trip a possibility for students?
I'm very thankful for this opportunity.
I wouldn't have been able to, so this gave me the opportunity to do something I've always wanted to do.
Huge amount of thanks and props to the study abroad people to keep this up and support us on this trip.
Could not have done it without you, and I'm very, very grateful that we all have this opportunity.
Wow, Italy looks pretty beautiful this time of year. Thank you, Lydia.
And when we come back, we'll hear about how construction workers are traveling, things you missed in sports, and some real ghost busting.
Dímelo, mi gente, it's Friday night y estamos activos. Head out early. Drinks flowing till 11 p.m. It's gonna be lit.
No sé qué pasó. I didn't even drink that much.
Welcome back, Bears. So question for you and for you guys. Have you guys seen the new osteopathic school being built on campus?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard to miss, you know?
That's fair. Well, did you know that construction workers have to walk every day to get to work?
You're kidding. I've seen a couple of them on scooters, but I didn't know that's how they got to work.
Nope, I'm not kidding. The lot closest to the construction site is reserved fully for faculty parking, forcing workers to park farther and farther away, relying on their Lambo fees to get to work. UNC's lot says the lot is designed for faculty and student use, making the workers rely on skating, scooting, and walking to work, even if there are open spots.
I know I don't want to get a ticket, so I can't really say anything about that.
Hey, I can't blame the workers for wanting to skate to work. Anything to get out of paying a parking ticket.
And speaking of tickets, if you traveled on I-25 frequently, you're probably used to seeing the bright orange sign reading tolls waived. Well, tomorrow, these signs will be taken down on I-25 and begin tolling between Berthoud and Fort Collins. Now, the traffic and time of day is going to influence how much drivers will have to pay. Rates could go as high as $12 for a full trip. For more information on specific tolling rates, you can always visit cdot.gov.
Last week, Artemis II launched their mission to take humans back to the moon for the first time in 50 years. The 10-day mission began navigating by 4 people, 3 from America and 1 from Canada, including the first woman in deep space and the first black man to journey to the moon. Children around the world watched to launch excitement, jumping around and even screaming. Artemis II is expected to reach the moon today around 5 p.m. Mountain Time.
Following a federal judge ruling, Nexstar's media group and its proposed merger with Tegna Inc. have been blocked. Nexstar has restored Tegna's original branding across dozens of local TV stations. The $7.5 billion deal would have combined hundreds of stations nationwide, but the court raised concerns about reduced competition and control over advertising markets. For now, both companies will remain separate as the case moves through the courts. Now let's go ahead and merge with sports reporter Savannah Amack on the latest in sports.
Good afternoon, Bears. I'm Savannah Amack, and welcome back to SAV Sports. Northern Colorado Athletic packed tons of action over the weekend, with speed ruling the track and softball showing out on the road. Between track and field split weekend at the Stanford Invitational and Jerry Quiller Classic in Boulder, the team saw 12 podium finishes across multiple events. At Stanford, Monique Stewart delivered one of the top performances of the weekend, finishing second in the 800 meters with a time of 2 minutes and 8 seconds, moving her up to third all-time in program history. Back in Boulder, the Bears stacked up event wins as well. In the women's 100-meter hurdles, junior Alexia Austin dominated, pulling away at the 80-meter mark to win the race. Also, a fresh addition to this year's team, junior Cadence Brewer's first-place finish in the 200 meters moved her into the 6th all-time spot at UNC. Up north, the softball team picked up a huge conference series win on Saturday, defeating Montana 14-10. The Bears exploded early, breaking things open with a massive second inning. Katie Walling set the tone with a 2-run homer and led the way at the plate, finishing with 3 hits and 3 RBIs. The dominant performance marked another milestone moment for the program as head coach Deanne Pendleton-Helm recorded her 19th career win over the weekend. On a national stage on Sunday, drama ran the court more than the game. Tensions ran high during the NCAA Women's National Championship between South Carolina and UConn, and it wasn't just about the final score. At the end of the third quarter, UConn's Sarah Strong tore out her jersey in frustration after missing a shot. Later, in the post-game conference, head coach Gino Arima blamed South Carolina players for the tear. And if you thought that was all, you're wrong. Following the final buzzer, Gino was seen exchanging intense words with South Carolina's Dawn Staley, adding another layer to an already emotional matchup. Coming up this week, track and field turns its attention to a midweek competition in Golden at the Colorado School of Mines. Women's golf are in action today through Wednesday at the Memorial in Texas, and baseball and softball are back in Greeley for weekend series versus North Dakota State and Idaho State. From record climbs to emotional headlines, it was a weekend that had a little bit of everything, including your UNC wrestling team moving into a different conference. The team just announced that they will be joining the Pac-12 starting July 1st. Now, let's head back to Jalen and Alicia to wrap up today's show.
Thanks, Savannah. I can't wait to see how wrestling does in a new conference. While the wrestlers are fighting each other, some are fighting ghosts. Bear News reporter TJ Gurney took the call.
From the outside looking in, the Fred Chartis School of Innovation may look like an average engineering school. But for Chess Bond, when he's not teaching 3rd and 4th grade, his passion goes from normal to paranormal.
And I'm the head of the High Plains Ghostbusters, which is now a subsidiary of Ghostbusters Colorado United.
Ghostbusters? You heard that right. And the High Plains Division is just one of over 200 groups across the United States.
Basically what the Ghostbusters franchises do is they do some cosplay for good. We do a lot of charity events, we support a lot of charity events. So yeah, we kind of help out with a lot of just fundraising and also just kind of make people happy.
The High Plains Ghostbusters take part in several charities such as Don't Be a Monster and the Starlight Foundation, the latter of which helps provide resources for sick children to help the hospital stay feel a little less scary. While taking a year off after finishing schooling for criminal justice, Chess found himself working in a Halloween store.
I'd seen people dress as Ghostbusters at events before, and I was like, man, I just wish I had the money and time to build the stuff that they had. Well, with the stuff at the Halloween store, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy this, and I'm gonna be a Ghostbuster. And then when I moved back to Greeley, gosh, in 2018, I wanted to start my own group.
To do this, Chess and the group dedicate hours of their time to modify props to ensure the full Ghostbusters experience is there. And of course, you can't forget the car.
And I love that moment where someone's at a stoplight and they look over, they do a double take, and you see this big grin on their face.
But beyond the cosplays, events, and retro vibes is something much deeper.
It's really cool to kind of create people's good vibes. Any moment where you get to kneel down next to a kid and just create something special in their world is always a cool feeling.
TJ Gurney, Bear News.
So, Jalen, do you have any spooky ghost stories?
No, not really. I don't really believe in ghosts. What about you, though?
Well, one time, I saw a ghost on my bed when I woke up. It was pretty scary if you ask me, but it's okay.
I wouldn't say that's okay. Well, thank you guys for tuning in today's show, and we will catch you all on Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.